I'm Bastian.
And I'm Caitlin. And welcome back to Wine About That. Today we're going to talk about Beau is Afraid.
Yeah, directed by Ari Aster.
3 hours long.
Yeah. Let's dive into it right away because I think there's so much, as long as this movie is, I think there's so much to say about this movie. So
there's a lot to say about this movie. There's a lot that happened in this movie.
So first of all, the story is basically talking about this really overly anxious character, paranoid
character.
And so basically the synopsis is that the world you're gonna experience in this movie is the world that is seen by an anxious person, but this world is real. It is not a fantasy. It's not just in his brain.
Yeah.
And so if you start and go watch this movie like that, it's gonna feel already better. You have to understand that it took me maybe 20, 30 minutes to understand that this world was real. I know that he had a lot of anxiety and that was kind of like triggering his life, but he's living a little nightmare. The world that is depicting there is awful, but in this movie, the world that is so awful is also awfully real.
Yeah. Like all of his anxieties manifest into reality. And you're caught in this like chaotic momentum of this character who is just constantly in bad situations, but also has no like self-respect to get himself out of these situations. So you're just watching him tumble for 3 hours straight, literally without having any wins. No wins. Like he does not win in any situation he's in. And like as a viewer, like as someone who does struggle with anxiety and depression and such, like I found myself feeling kind of just like, geez, man, like can't this guy have like any kind of like
I think you
like break? And I know the idea. Sorry.
No, go for it.
I know the idea of the movie is to provoke those feelings within the viewer to kind of like bring you into this horrifying representation of anxiety and paranoia. But like, I think it just kind of it loses you along the way because it's so much all the time, and the situations are so out there and crazy that you're just like, what the hell is going on and why, you know?
I think the main concept at first is extremely interesting. So the movie is 3 hours long.
Which Bastian's so happy about. He wished it was longer.
No, yeah, I mean, just to let you know, I know for a fact that Ari Aster, which I love, he did 2 of my favorite movies. His 2 first movies were like Midsommar and Hereditary. If you haven't watched them, go for it. They are pure masterpiece for me. They are more on the horror side, but they are masterpiece to my taste. They are not gory or whatnot. They are very psychological, but amazingly made, amazingly done, amazingly acted. This movie is amazingly acted, but for the other part, I just don't understand. This movie was supposed to be 4 hours long. The studio A24, which I love this studio once again, asked him to cut 1 more hours to make a 3 hours long movie.
I can't believe that.
But the concept of the movie is amazing. The concept is how to depict paranoia in a movie, in the full spectrum of what paranoia can bring into your life. The issue is that it becomes so confusing over the movie. So freaking confusing. The first hour and a half, I was completely into the movie.
Yeah,
and then there's this switch when suddenly he's gonna run into the woods. I'll let you discover the movie if you want to, but when he's gonna run into the woods, and basically I was just like, my goodness, what is happening? Because these hours in the wood is the hour that completely lost me. It becomes extremely ridiculous.
Like
that makes nonsense.
It's nonsense.
And there's like weird things happening. I cannot even explain.
There is one part in that scene though that I really loved, and it was the animated sequence, which I thought was so beautiful. So beautiful. It was so random and almost completely pointless, and I didn't understand why it was included. But it was so... I loved watching that part.
Yeah, the one in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's artistically... I mean, artistically, there's nothing to say.
But, like, even... I think what's so strange, and I know this is probably exactly what Ari Aster wanted, But like watching that scene, even in the woods, like you're just left with like, what is the point of that? Like that didn't. Change.
I mean, everything
like,
is metaphorical.
Yeah, but it didn't change the trajectory of anything. And I know it's all metaphorical, but at some point you kind of get like, you get like almost desensitized to like his experience because you're just trying to find like your footing in the movie because you're just like, okay, this is happening, now this is happening, now this is occurring, now this is going on, and then this is happening, this just happened. You're like, where is this going? Like, where are we going?
I think the concept, once again, the scenario is so good at some point, but
yeah,
the concept of this paranoia is going for so long that it completely desensitizes you and like really like pull you away from the main subject.
Yeah, and you're kind of like, I just got annoyed with Beau, the main character, so I'm just like, he has no hubris. Like, he has no, he doesn't. He has none. Like, and I get it. But, like, I think it was just, like, painful to watch at some point, because you're just like, yeah, so at the end of the movie, there's something that happens, and it's kind of just like, of course that happens. Like, big surprise, you know? I don't know.
I mean, for me, it's so confusing. I've got completely lost at some point. I was just looking at my watch. I said, like, where is this thing is bring me now? I mean, I was hyped. Like, the first sequence is in town. The second sequence is like, he's rescued by some people that help him, but these people are also very weird. And because he's so paranoid, so he sees the bad everywhere. And the camera kind of, I mean, the direction kind of make you feel for him, like make you feel for Beau, which played by Joaquin Phoenix is amazing. But like I said, it's pulling the string for so long that it lost me. Even though when near like a 2 hours mark of the movie, maybe like 2 hours and a half, there's this huge twist that make you understand the whole plot of the movie. But they already like fatigue you for an hour in the freaking woods that you're like, whatever you want to tell me now. Like, I'm here, I'm listening, but just make it reach an end, because I'm just like, I'm just not there anymore.
I mean, the attic scene.
I mean, no spoil, but like there's this huge story in the attic, which is the whole metaphor about like who his dad is, and like, once again, like the representation of his dad, I let you discover, I think it worth his penny. I think that's one thing that worth his penny. And I can promise you one thing. Never in your life you will see another movie like that. This is unique by any mean. Yeah. However, they could have removed a good hour, and that would have made this movie an amazing piece of art. He could have made a longer version later, and I would have said, yeah, it was unnecessary, but you know, it's just to extend the pleasure of the thing. But already lasting 3 hours, I was just like, I'm lost.
For the same like situation.
Yeah, it's
like,
a repetition.
Like, and like I said, there's no resolution at any point. At any point. And I feel like it's just kind of like, it's representing mental health, obviously, but I feel like it's doing it in a way that's almost like mocking it, because you have this guy who's like clearly struggling severely with himself and like his perception of the world, and you have the world just like tumbling him around like he's in a dryer. Just it's
it's kind of a horrific
it's
humor.
Like, if you've seen Mother, like the movie Mother, where like she's stuck in this house and everyone keeps coming in, and she's like, she has no control over anything, you know, and people are just ruining her house.
Yeah, I didn't know where you were going.
Yeah, it's like that same feeling of just like unease, and just like you're watching like chaos and there's nothing you can do to change it. It's very strange. I don't know. I really did like the movie because like I said, whatever, I have anxiety, blah, 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 blah. But like, that's how it feels sometimes. But I feel like just 3 hours of that, it was like whoa.
I mean,
and it's not just 3 hours of it. It's 3 hours of complete insanity. Like, complete, just like...
confusion.
Chaos. Like,
confusion.
And like, chaos that doesn't make sense at some point. Like, at all. Even like, abstractly. Like, you can't even like, pretend to understand why.
And that's the first thing I told you, because that's the first thing I said when the movie was over. I said, you know, it's good to be a bit meta. Yeah, it's good to be a little bit like, you know, in this abstraction of things. Yeah. But if the main audience does not understand what is happening for almost the entire movie, then I think you miss the target. I think reflecting on this movie after, because it's been like now 10 days that we watched it and we needed to process on it. And now that I reflect on it, I did also my research and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But at the very moment when the credit arrived, I was like, what the heck just happened? If I didn't understand fully, like, just the main concept of it, like if the movie lost me at some point, then the target is missed. And of course, you know, like you can hear all these people that are very meta, oh, it's a piece of art. And I respect that. I'm just not that audience. I love weird movies. She can tell. I love weird movies. I love very different movies. But this one completely lost me, and I wanted to love this movie so much. I was so hyped.
Told me before we went to see it, he's like, it might be the movie of the year for me.
Oh yeah? It could have been.
Us leaving, he was like, that was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
No, it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. There's few, but no, it wasn't the worst movie because I think the concept is there. The concept is interesting. The concept is really interesting. Watch it once in your life. Make your own opinion on it. Know that it's about paranoia and that this paranoia is made real. It's not a metaphor, technically speaking. It's real.
Yeah.
Like he's really living in his paranoid world.
And as a viewer, you just want to like scream at him at some point and just be like speak up.
Now, for me, I was, when is he going to wake up? Because it's so confusing at some point that you're like, is he dreaming? Is he really living
because
that?
Because it jumps like a dream. You know how you like, boom, you're here. Boom, this happens. Boom,
exactly.
This is happening. Boom, why is this happening? That's how it is.
Exactly. That's exactly what we talk about. It happens like you watch these 3 hours, like if you were dreaming your entire night and you jump from one situation to another without any cohesion between the two.
It's just like a jump cut. Like a jump cut, new situation, jump cut, new situation. Why is that? That doesn't relate to the... Which I know, honestly, it's like, obviously that's the point, clearly. But as a viewer, it's kind of like, all right. But I think we should do our ratings.
Yeah, I mean, the movie is called Beau is Afraid.
Yeah.
Know that it's a journey, but it's not a very entertaining journey on my end. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the first hours and a half is amazing. He goes in the wood. The movie lost me.
Yeah.
Completely. So... go for your rating.
I give it a 7. And you?
Oh, me, I'm going to give it a 3. Like, wow. I'm so deceived. It's...
a 3?
Yes, 3 because of the concept. The original concept is interesting. It's original. But I think at some point, like, I would love to have heard this reading with the directors, with the people that finance the movie, and people that say, oh yeah, that's gonna be amazing. I think Ari Aster did 2 amazing, like I repeat for me, masterpiece movies that he had almost like a blank card and they said, whatever you want to do it because it's gonna be a success. And that's when sometimes studios should look like deeply into the contract and into the scenario, the screenplay, because this is a huge miss for me. Like, huge miss. I'm very curious of what the hour that has been cut was about, because
and maybe it would have given us more closure. Yeah, maybe it would have given us more closure. Who knows?
I don't know. The concept is pulled way too far. Like I said, so 3 just to respect the original idea that I think has been a huge miss on the final product. So 7 on your end is amazing.
Yeah.
And very respectable note. So that's why I think like you really should watch this movie to make you an opinion. It's good to have divergent opinion. We love that.
Yeah.
She knows I was maybe expecting so much of this movie that it's also why I'm so deceived. Performance of Joaquin Phoenix is, once again, there's nothing to say. This actor is one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
And all the other actors play extremely well. Mm-hmm. But huge miss on my end. And good watch for you.
Yeah, good watch for me.
Perfect. Yeah. So on this note, we're gonna thank you so much for watching. Once again, I know we repeat each other every week, but if you watch the video in random order, at least you understand the concept. We'll be here every Friday. Do not hesitate to like, subscribe, share, comment, and just like enjoy with us. We love doing that. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
See ya. Bye bye.